The fact that Loveland is 21% more affordable than Denver is a huge reason why people want to move there. And even with an increase in supply of properties compared to the 23 and 24 years, I anticipate the property values will go up. So striking while the iron is hot might be the right decision. Loveland, Colorado is a very popular, absolutely breathtaking city in northern Colorado that has drawn a lot of attention in the past few years. While you're gonna love the pros here, you need to know about Loveland's cons. That way, if it's a place you consider a move to, you can make the right decision with the right information. The first we can tackle immediately, because it's probably the most important factor in the realm of buying a home, is that Loveland is a very affordable option for living in Colorado. The median price for a single family home right now sits around $511,000 with a median home size of around 2,200 square feet. This is compared to Fort Collins, the main northern Colorado city, whose median home cost sits at $565,000 with a median size of just under 2,200 square feet. So similar size homes, but Loveland is $55,000 more affordable. I have another video that goes a bit more in depth on the spread of homes and their relative prices that I recommend taking a look at next. But what about Denver, the main city in Colorado? Well, the median price for a single family home there sits at $650,000 with just around the same square footage. So in Loveland, almost $140,000 less for a similar sized home? That's crazy. The fact that Loveland is 21% more affordable than Denver is a huge reason why people want to move there. Not to mention the following pros I'm about to share. But before we get there, let's talk about one of the cons here, and that's going to be traffic and commutes. Loveland is known for being a commuter town, since it's only around a 30-minute drive to the center of Fort Collins up north. As a result, there is a reality of commuter traffic along 287, which runs within the center of the city from Longmont down south all the way up to Fort Collins. But also there's going to be traffic along I-25 on the eastern side of the city. This is the main highway that runs north out of Denver. If you're heading out of Loveland, you're more likely than not using 287 because it's so close. However, being only a 2-lane highway, it can get pretty condensed within the city and as you're getting into Fort Collins, especially if you add all the traffic stops along the way. Living in Loveland but commuting to Fort Collins? Give yourself enough time so you're not late for work. Now, switching back to the positive side, the second pro to highlight about Loveland is the outdoors. I've said it before and I'll say it again. This part of Colorado is big into the outdoors. There are so many spots not only to enjoy within Loveland, but nearby too. A very popular spot, especially in the summer, is Boyd Lake and Boyd Lake State Park. A fantastic location for those who love to sail or enjoy an afternoon with friends on their pontoon, or just have a cookout on the 4th of July at the campgrounds. Doesn't only have to be on the 4th of July, it can be anytime. Another place just a bit south is Carter Lake, which is an unbelievable location for boating, camping, scuba diving, and a lot more. But I've talked a lot about the water. What about some good old-fashioned hiking? Well, that's just about everywhere. If you're down for an hour drive, head into the mountains to Estes Park and try some serious but beautiful hikes there. Then go and enjoy a wonderful lunch in the center of town. But of course, there are dozens of local trails around Loveland too. It'll keep you busy throughout the summer. Now, the next con on our list is actually something I stated before, and that's that Loveland is far from Denver, about an hour away. Now, for some, this actually can be a huge plus, but for transportation, specifically flight-wise, not so much. This is only going to be applicable for those that either frequent the airport or want the easiest airport experience possible. Is that even a thing anymore? If you're living in Loveland, you have two options. You either prepare for a 1 to 2 hour commute down south to the Denver International Airport. Yes, I said 2 hours because I'm willing to bet regardless of the time you leave, you're gonna hit traffic at least twice. So factor that into your overall time needed to get to your gate. Or the second option is you fly first out of the Northern Colorado Regional Airport, which connects through the Denver International to wherever you're trying to go. Everything here connects through the Denver Airport. So it is a con because it adds time to your overall commute. Now, perhaps this isn't the end-all be-all for you to say, no thanks, Loveland, but it's just something to keep in mind. Now, on the flip side, you might say, well, I get to save on the drive and getting stuck in traffic by just flying out of Loveland. Maybe, but check the cost difference. I'm willing to bet in most cases, it'll be $100 to a few $100s more flying out of Loveland than just driving down to Denver. Speaking of flip sides, Loveland being far from Denver actually does have its perks. For one, Loveland is way less crowded, obviously less populated than Denver, but also not surrounded by other highly populated suburbs. The population of Loveland is only 80,000 people. Denver itself is 715,000 people, not to mention the almost 3 million total found in the greater metro area. Being so far north, Loveland gets gets away from the highly congested, highly populated areas of Denver. This can be a huge plus for those looking for not necessarily a rural town, but a city that's of relative size. Now, you do have Fort Collins to the north, being the largest city in northern Colorado. However, a quick glance east and south, and you'll find you're tiptoeing on the edge of that rural Colorado gap between these cities and Denver to the south. A great option if you're looking at being far away from Denver. Now, with every great pro, there's also a corresponding con. And this is actually the attention that Loveland's got in the past few years. Being a desirable place to live, that means that people are moving there. And as a result, Loveland is growing in size. The outskirts of both Loveland and Fort Collins have been slowly expanding towards each other for years now. And there's speculation it'll become one large consolidated metro area. The population of Loveland is estimated to continue growing through the decade. Now, I will admit, most likely not anything immense. The population is 80,000 people right now. Can we speculate it'll be 100,000 by 2030? That's a 25% increase in 5 years. Since 2010, Loveland has grown by 18%. So I anticipate a slower rate in the upcoming years. However, here's what needs to be mentioned: home values. Like we saw across the board in Colorado in the past few years, with a surge in migration to the state, coupled with low interest rates at the time, we had huge increases in property values, which is why Loveland is desirable, since Loveland's median home price sits well below Denver and below the state as a whole. But that could change if more people want to move here. If that's the case, demand goes up. And even with an increase in supply of properties compared to the 23 and 24 years, I anticipate the property values will go up. So striking while the iron is hot might be the right decision. Again, you'd have to weigh your options first. Now, if you want to do more research on Loveland, because it is in fact a beautiful city and a terrific place to live, check out another video of mine. But if the notion of Loveland's growth turns you away, yet you still love the idea of living in northern Colorado, I have a solution for you, and that's Berthoud, a fantastic little town. I think you'll like it. This is Life in the Front Range. I'll see you there.